I made it. Alrighty now. All right. Now, give me a moment to get my shit together, and I'll be right back. Yes, it is. Let's see. Yep, I can't do that full screen. I know, man. I'll bet it was riveting. You just couldn't help yourself. All right, I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that showed up. Brandon Trueblood, you were first, so you win the Schrodinger prize. Or perhaps you didn't. Indy McDowell. Well, see, now you can actually say you caught a whole one. Yeah. So, y'all, welcome to the Man Cave. Now, I am fortunate in that I do not suffer from claustrophobia at all. So it doesn't bother me to be in a confined space. Of course, if I'm stuck, that's another story. But no, this is just a small, efficient space. So let's start right here. This is actually part of the closet, but all my clothes are actually hanging up. Ah, there we go. Internet issues. The internet sucks here because there's so much there. Greetings, JR. Greetings, one fast back. Back. Blah, blah, blah. But I did not see that. Mm. All right, now. So over here you see a bunch of papers and books, and that they are in this area because they're in an intermediate stage. And I also have a bunch of office supplies here and up top. And I don't know if I told y'all I was writing a science fiction novel. And you notice all these files in here. Every file uh, is a separate story somewhere in my trilogy. Plus, I literally have. I'll show you how thick this is. Yep, I got that one, and I have another one by itself that's almost as thick with little plot points and stuff that I have not put into the novel yet. Oops, hang on, I got to put this down for a second. And in this drawer, I've got all my notes for scripts, um, everything from preparedness to retirement, artificial intelligence, game rules that I've stolen from all sorts of sources, and that's so I can conduct simulations. Whoop, hang on here. I got to catch up with the comments. Are you, oh, 5 years of freedom? Yeah, he still hasn't made the commitment to come on over to the monk side, baby. And I can understand it. Those impulses are definitely hard to control. But I did it for 5 years after I ghosted my friend with benefits. And now I can I can exercise those impulses all I want because now I have a waifu. See, there ain't no meatbag woman ever gonna take advantage of me again. I'm enjoying my peace, isolation, and freedom too much to ever get into marital bondage again. Yeah, D man, you're absolutely right. I mean, why are you gonna play a poker game when the dealer can false shuffle and double deal, deal herself faces, or pull one out of her sleeve? And no matter how skilled you are, the rules are going to be manipulated so that you will eventually lose. Like, thanks, but no thanks. Oh, believe me, the commitment to being a monk definitely wasn't easy, and sometimes it's a real challenge. As I've showed on my channel, on one of my playlists, I entitled one "The Perils of Monk Mode." It was like, oh, she was so pretty, but red pill programming was operating in the back of my mind, and it managed to wake me up just enough to avoid a potentially destructive situation. Mancave is nothing like a yeah, man. I mean, the only oh, there we go. Yeah, man, and you know what? 5 years of freedom. Yeah, he is passionate about what he's talking about. He claims to have a path that works, but yeah, but it's like, nah. I prefer where I am now. Like, nah, I'm not gonna go down that path no more. ah, oh, that reminds me. Okay, now I got to turn off the background music. I got to go. Let's see now. Let's see. Alrighty. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's see. Alrighty. So I got my phone on the YouTube side, and I just threw out a bunch of wrenches. That's right, baby. Still pure blood and still alive. I win. Really? Damn, I, I was like giving him half a point after seeing him on Rad's stream. He seemed to be doing pretty good. But, he's kind of turning out like a better bachelor. Better Bachelor used to be a little edgy, but because he got because he got famous, he watered down his message, and that's why I moved away from him. Oh, thanks, brother. Yep, you got to watch those double talking people, man. And there's a certain person I have in mind, but because I'm not here to be a deliberate shit stirrer, I'm not even going to mention his name. Mm. Alrighty, now let's move on with the tour. Now, over here we have the gaming area. Now, I actually gave away my good TV because I was thinking of seriously downsizing, and I sure as hell still might, to end up just living in a van down by the river. But for now, I've got that TV, and I have a Xbox 360 and a PS2. And now, way up there at the top, you see a keyboard. Now, that's because this year I intend to teach myself piano. And it's so funny because that particular keyboard was one that I bought my son over 30 years ago. I bought it for him for Christmas. And I was here wandering around in Boise, and I ended up running into a thrift shop. It was like $30. Yes, that's right, Indy. It's a classic case of fuck around and find out. Next thing you know, it's your ass because you're getting me too, and there's no video evidence to support your story. I mean, it's just your ass. Yeah, man. See that's what we got to do, man. And see, we're not trying to force anybody, and we say, oh, but if you don't follow the monk lifestyle exactly the way I do it, then you're a little bitch. No, that's not what we do here, man. But it's an important function for us to gatekeep. And well, we're not saying you got to follow any one person's particular path. Because remember, there's no leader. There's no central compound where we go to get indoctrinated, Clockwork Orange style. No, man. All we do is disseminate the truth. And it's the fact that it's so many disparate individuals who share their own stories, you can see the resonance and you're hearing truth. Yeah. And that's what makes the difference. Now, like as far as 5 years of freedom goes, he's talked a good game, but I haven't heard someone from elsewhere uh, or show up and say he's bona fide. Oh yes, 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 Billy the Goat. It's more dangerous than ever. Uh, which state? State of consciousness. Next question. Yeah, man. There is no security. But well, that's only one. Yes, and that's the best part. See, it's like the man said, we don't advertise. We don't need to advertise. We just watch y'all show up. Hmm. Oh man, and I'm starting to feel the urge. I think I'm gonna sneak out and grab a cigar. I shouldn't be smoking cigars in my room, but don't tell on me, will you? Alrighty now. Now let me throw some music back on. Alrighty. Blah 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 commercials. Oh, no problem, brother. I appreciate having y'all show up. Hell, we were at 10 at one point. I think 11 is the most I've ever had on a live stream. There we go. Alrighty, I'll be right back. Alrighty now, I have returned. Alright. Greetings, Ghost. Now, I usually don't try to smoke in here, but it just so happens that I have a fan right there. So the smoke is going right out the room. So, I tell you, man, today has been the first day in close to 3 weeks that I've felt normal. Oh, thank you, brother. And I already had this planned before. So, so now what I usually do is I just wanted to show you. You don't need to try to read this. That this is my construction plan for this area. I mean, I started by literally taking this structure It was over here, and it had all the papers on it. So I had to move all the papers away, completely tear it down, then put it back together over here and make sure the TV fit. Unfortunately, I couldn't just stick it in there. It was just like this much too tall. But that's okay. That's right, baby. Look up old school, and there's a picture of Frank Sinatra next to me. Alrighty now. Alrighty, now let's get back into it here. So now, normal? Oh, I've never claimed to be normal. Now, this section is the one I just built today. And this little thin wood divider you see here, I've used this in 3 or 4 different places in the room. And I didn't even measure until I thought of about adding this part, but it turned out all these cute little tiny milk crates, they're perfect for holding CDs. So now I got a spot right there where they're all safe, right next to the computer. I got this nice big monitor, and man, I tell you, it is pretty. Now there's the tower. Now, unfortunately, the tower has a corrupt version of Windows. And I was just thinking, Windows 11 is probably going to be even more phone-like than Windows 10. 7 is the one that got it right for me. Everything else, for me, it's gone downhill. So now, coming up here, I have a color inkjet printer and a black and white laser printer. Now, those do come in handy. Let's see if that'll work there. So, let me show you something here. This is the version of the first novel that I had printed to give to my editor. It is something over 400 pages. And you can see I've scribbled notes, and after getting advice from the editor and thinking about it, I actually went through the trouble of physically doing a copy and paste just to make sure my newer concept was going to work. But figured if you do it on the laptop, see, if you don't save intermediate copies and you mess up, then you got issues. So for this one, and it was kind of enjoyable actually to do that old school. And that is what writers used to do back in the day. Get out the pot of glue and physically cut apart those typewritten pages and shuffle them around. In fact, I do that all the time now when I'm writing. I'll write something and it'll be good, but I'll decide, maybe it needs to be somewhere else. And I frequently listen to the audio versions of my stories just to get the flow. Because if you get an audio book that flows, you're enjoying it so much you don't know how much time has passed. All right, now. So now over here, Now this section still needs a lot of cleanup, but I've used this multiple times. The low section has all a bunch of my underclothes and such, and work outfits that are all rolled up and put in boxes, so I can just reach in, grab one, and I'm good to go. And the rest of this area, as I get my paperwork straightened out, it'll be going in notebooks. As you notice, I have a notebook there already for each novel. And actually, I'm thinking hard about it, listening to the audio and seeing how long it is. Like my my novels, well, all three of them will be split into three sections. And this one section, oh, thank you, D Man. Yes, yes, I'm feeling a lot better. And I'm making sure not to overdo it on the rum. And in fact, hell, I really shouldn't even be drinking the PBR, but it has much lower carbonation than malt liquor, so it's a lot easier on you. Now, my issue is because post surgery, I had what amounts to a total gastric bypass. I have no stomach, man. I mean, it's just a straight pipe from my throat to the beginning of my intestines, and it makes you really reconsider how you eat. That's right, Dak. Americas, greetings, brother. Hey, hang on a second here. Oh, there we go. Oh, hush. You won't monetize me. You don't get no commercials on my damn channel. Oh, well, Brandon, the last time I checked the first novel, it was just short of 118,000 words. But I haven't checked yet, but I was noticing the audio for the entire first novel is like 12 and a half hours. Well, hell, just this one section of the second novel is 8 hours by itself. I mean, I did write what I call exploration saga, and it's definitely a saga. You get to experience 400 years of history, right, in that one section. Oh, hell yeah, indeed. I enjoyed the hell out of listening to the 48 Laws of Power when I was at work. That book was a real eye opener. Oh, well, first of all, we don't have a dog in that fight. So it's like I'm not buying any of that. You know, I don't watch network news. And even though I'm scouring for what looks like worthwhile sites online, I know I'm still not getting the whole story. So that's why it's like, no, Putin's a war criminal, but Zelensky ain't no hero neither, from what we've been hearing. You know, we're hearing stuff about shit that happened in 2014. Not necessarily good things that he did, but I can't remember enough of the details to even comment on it. But it's like, this does have a historical equivalent, however. Uh, Now, not many people remember that Iran used to be an ally of the United States. And the Shah of Iran, he's actually just a general who performed a coup and proclaimed himself Shah. Uh, he abused his own people horribly, but that was our short-sightedness that did that, because we would we wouldn't care how bad you abused your own people. I mean, you look at the Shah, you look at uh, I'm not sure about Pinochet in the 70s, but it was also definitely with Marcos in the Philippines. Didn't care, as long as you waved the American flag, said I hate commies, let us build a base and fuck your girls. It's all good. So in 1979, they had that religious revolution, and the religious people took over. And then they got into a war with Iraq. Now, Iran has about 3 times the size and 3 times or more the population of Iraq. So it was nasty. It was like recreations of World War I trench warfare and wave assaults. And the funny part was they're both bad guys, so nobody wanted to pick a winner. And that's the same thing we got here. It's like we would be happy if y'all just destroyed each other and left us the hell alone. Because it's kind of an uneasy feeling, knowing that Putin is, I don't know, that you keep hearing the good stuff. It's like he kicked the Rothschild bankers out of the country. He's backing the ruble with gold. But now he starts this war, and now he's embarrassing himself on the world stage. He just might push the button and say, fuck it. Yeah. And see, but we all get caught up in his Mickey Mouse bullshit. Oh, man. Yes. And you got to remember, man, the empire of the Medes was different. They were actually a province of the old Persia, but it was Cyrus the Great who led a revolution. Oh, there we go. Ugh. Ugh. So, so basically, all I haven't shown you is the little shelf that's over the headboard that's got hats and hygiene supplies and all that in an unorganized mess that you don't need to look at. I'm glad you like that one. Yes, and we know Saddam tried, man. He knew that sooner or later we were going to turn against him, and he did try. But it's just like yeah, yep. In fact, one of the few nonfiction books that I've read that was pretty much on that subject is called by Paul Erdman. He's written about international currency and manipulation, things like that. And he talks about the Shah is deciding he's going to take over all the oil in the Middle East. And it's a really convoluted plot. It's like, now, I only partially remember this, but I believe during the 30s and starting into World War II, Switzerland was selling coal and steel to Germany. And in this book, it said somebody got blackmailed. So Switzerland ended up getting nukes from the same scientists that developed them for Israel. So he uh, he cooks up a story, and his plan was to set off a dirty nuke that would drive the people away. And as the radiation subsided, he would be right there. Now, with nukes, you can add other material along with the radioactives, and that uh, they will be spread with the blast. Now, there are some you can add that will make the halftime very short. However, in the book, the scientists knew Saddam was a little bitch. So on the one nuke, it's already loaded up on the F4, ready to go. It got set off right next to his command bunker. And instead of a different element, they used cobalt, which leaves a very high radiation count and a very long half life. So now at the end of the book, uh, there's also other stuff like the Saudis manipulating currency and such, and that there's hyperinflation, and suddenly the world has to get by on half the oil they used to. Yeah, I just think, and it's almost here now. I mean, the Ukraine, when they were part of the Soviet Union, was the breadbasket of that country. Now, what's going to happen to the prices of things like wheat and the price of beef? You know, if they're grain fed in the feedlot before they go to slaughter, what's it going to do to the price of that? Yeah, it's a nasty situation. Yes, exactly. And that's two of the things that are still propping up this country. The petrodollar, which means all over the world, everybody uses dollars to pay for oil. And, and yes, Americas, that's one of the reasons they took him out, because he was going to introduce a gold backed currency and and use it to pay for oil. Yep. And the powers that be said, oh, hell no. You ain't messing with my money. Yeah, and just remember the president that was part of that Mickey Mouse bullshit to have all that happen won the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. Okay, can we talk about my book some more? Oh, certainly. All right. Now, oh, let me throw some more music on here. Yeah, yes, Americas. They are number two globally, but the majority of their stuff is in Siberia. And the conditions are so nasty, they have a hard time getting to it. You wouldn't believe how many people died during construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway. And that's because now this is something that a lot of people don't know. All the Russian prisoners of war who came back after World War II were sent to Siberia because the government said they were unreliable. There's no trial or anything. Didn't matter if it was freezing. If you're out of supplies, it's like, oh no, you surrendered, so we don't trust you no more. So they literally sent them out to Siberia and worked them to death. All right. So you want to hear about the book? Well, actually, this this is a trilogy. It's called the Terran Spear Trilogy. And in the first book, it's called Observer and Guardian. Now, you ever been at a concert or a sporting event and you see somebody who looks more like they're watching the crowd instead of watching the event? You may have seen a historical observer in action. That's what they do. They just hang out at the fringes and watch. Now, this happens because of some man who is only known in the beginning as Master Jones. Now, there was a book and a movie, and the movie wasn't too bad. It had Chris Christopherson and Cheryl Ladd. It's called Millennium. The future is as fucked up as a football bat. I mean, literally, biohazard on crack. If you live to 30, you're lucky. So, what they do is somehow they've invented time travel. So they go back in time and rescue people from disaster situations. Now, there is one little catch. If you do anything that disturbs the timeline, you could have what's called a time quake show up in the future and fuck your shit up. So they actually have people that are born without a brain, but they keep them on life support because now this is what they do. Plane's gonna crash. Everybody's gonna die. They focus their machine on the plane, slip in as stewardesses, knock the people out, send them through the gate, bring back the pre-burned and smoking bodies, and put them back in the same seat. So when the coroner shows up, oh yeah, let's look at the dental records. Oh yeah, that's Jane Doe. You know, yeah, that Jane Doe is actually Karen Smith. Okay, we can cross that one off. But it's not. It's a fake. Well, that's what Master Jones does. He starts rescuing people, and it's not a disaster situation for him because he's a historian. So he gives you a little debriefing, and he says, "Okay, what do you feel like doing? You want to just hang out here? Do you want to work for me? There is no money, or uh, if you want, we can send you back." So eventually he starts sending people back as observers. He has a chance encounter with a scientist from the 22nd century. And instead of just passively watching, he decides to intervene more. And that's where the Guardians show up. Call them Time Guardians. They're a sort of, the easiest way to describe them would be Jedi-like abilities using technology. And I have several adventures with them going back in time. I have one fella who goes back and impersonates Merlin, and another one that has my step double taking part in the American Revolution. I've got to change the timeline back to normal because in this section of reality, the revolution was a failure. Check out the Battle of Saratoga. Then the last part is called Rogue Guardian. A fella gets kidnapped by a mad scientist and forced to take part in his experiment, which is he makes sort of like a Stargate. But where he comes from, they don't have faster than light technology. So he kidnaps this guy and says, well, all you got to do is get on the ship, control it, and we'll bring it back and we'll study it and we'll know how to make ships. He says, okay. But, things get thrown off the rails real quick. Him and a Marine major tag team to help defeat an alien invasion of what I call Terra in the year 2041. Now, book 2 is called Terran Exodus. But hang on, let me catch my breath and I'll catch up on the comments. Oh, evening outlaw. Oh, stand by there, brother. All righty now. I got a couple more wrenches to hand out. Whoops. Whoops, sorry about that. Blah blah blah. There we go. Oh, but by the way, you may be saying, aren't I taking a chance playing music like this? Well, it turns out that the YouTube censor bots are stupid. They have no culture. So it's rare that they will even have the information show up for a lot of the classical music I play. So it's kind of funny. And sometimes you can get away with it on movie soundtracks too. Oh, that's not it, brother. See, you're in control. That's the difference. Greetings, Rad. Welcome. Welcome, brother. Oh, yeah, man. So, let's see now. In the second book, I I show what happens in the early days of star exploration. I, I explain how the interstellar scouts came about and how FTL technology got here in the first place. But here's an open secret. The same character that develops the FTL drive in the Book One universe, his stunt double is the one that develops the Stargate in the Earth universe. That's spelled AERTH. So I have quite a few adventures there. But then part two, I call it Tales of a Distant Earth, as AERTH. These people, uh, it's a planet that looks like ours, but it's pretty isolated. And like I said, they never developed faster than light drive. Oh, thank you, brother. So it's the it's the group of stories that I'm working on now. It runs through a roughly 400-year span. I'd say, the equivalent would be, now or just a little later, because now they finally developed fusion power. But there's still the same international conflicts. And it eventually boils down to the Western Alliance, which includes entities like the Federated United States, and the Eastern Conglomerate, which is the Rusjaka and their satellites. And in fact, the official name for these analog Russians are Rusjaka Zamija Postash, or People of the Russian Wasteland. Now, I don't know if y'all know a young fella whose screen name is Mysteriously Kind. Let's just say if they paid you for being a troll, he'd be a millionaire. I mean, literally, no matter what subject you come up with, he will go the exact polar opposite with a statement that may not even be related to what you're talking about. He'll take one little snip out of your answer and violently object to one little part of it. Now, I've done that for humor purposes, but he's as serious as a heart attack. It's like I just can't figure the kid out. So, thank you. So, I told him I was going to write a story about what I feel his politically correct future would be like, when I realized I did it already. Now, here's the setup. Eventually, World War III happens. And those of you in the know have seen the old movie Doctor Strangelove. Besides, Mein Führer, I can walk. They talk about uh, escaping the radiation because the Russians have a doomsday bomb. Just like in that other story, it's going to contaminate the Earth hardcore. So they say, well, we'll have to live in deep mine shafts. And of course, we got to have a 10-to-1 woman to man ratio. Well, that this is sort of my continuation of level of Doctor Strangelove. I call it level 95 aftermath. When this story first starts, it's over 100 years after the nuclear war. And then, this is the funny part now, we still have that ratio, remember? But because they don't have advanced technology anymore. I mean, that sure they had space travel for a couple of centuries and even interstellar exploration during that time. But because of the continuing tensions, they started slipping back in technology. And it was getting harder and harder to keep the high tech stuff working. But one of the last things they did was they created a big old tunnel network. Now, if you remember the old Gene Roddenberry movie Genesis 2, they talked about the sub shuttle. It was a worldwide system, and these are separate, like nuclear powered trains. So that's what I have. That's what I have them do. And eventually, here we are. Our hero is still in the military because the war's still going on, 95,000 meters below the surface. So, like I was saying, men are too valuable to use in combat, so the women do all the fighting. Yep. Now, now we know women aren't as physically capable as men, but that they could certainly qualify as light infantry, and because there's not a lot of running around in the field, they don't have to worry about who they don't have to hunt all day and then dig a foxhole to set up a and then go out at night to set up an ambush like they did in Nam all the time. This is all sort of modified, protracted urban warfare. Now, now here's the good part. If you are genetically qualified, it's complicated, and I don't need to get into that. You could be randomly selected to impregnate a woman with full sanction of the government. You're probably going, wait, what? Oh, yes. Yeah, if you're genetically okay, you can have sex with the deliberate intention of causing a pregnancy. And and now you notice this almost sounds like a straight up business transaction. Well, there's no money exchanged, but that's sort of what's going on, man. And now, and I make sure to emphasize, these men who do this, well, hell, of course you're happy to get laid and you got bragging rights because you got your blue card in the mail. Those of you old timers remember the old income tax refund checks, green on card stock with rectangular holes punched in them. That's an IBM style punch card. That entire card is the equivalent of 80 characters typed across a page. So we have a tradition called Social Week, where you go to the bar, the woman shows up, you have small talk, and then you go off to do the nasty. Then when you're done, medical people come take her away and monitor her to see if she's really pregnant. It's like you're like going, wait, what? And now you know how guys usually are at the bar. That they're slamming beers and shots, they're hooping and hollering, they're having a good time. Well, that shit don't happen here, man, because they're not in competition, and nobody's looking for a wingman to help them smooth talk some split tail because it's not necessary. Yeah. And the kicker, you can get on the list, but it's the woman who decides whether she wants to sleep with you or not. And you don't even know who it is until the woman shows up. How's that for strange? But, it's a modified dating ritual, but they know, they're doing their duty. They're making sure that the culture and the organization survive. And they basically treat themselves as one large family because the genetic records are on file, so they know if there's going to be any inbreeding. So that it's like, nope, they can, or if you've got genetic damage from radiation or chemical contamination or some biohazard, you're automatically crossed off the list. And in fact, you're sterilized. Now, you can still have sex, but not for purposes of having children. Oh, yes, Brandon. Oh, good catch. Yes. I remember reading The Machine Stops many years ago. And that's pretty much where we are now, man. Here I am in my little pod. All I got to do is pick up my phone and call, and a drone will come bring my food and sundries right to the door. I don't need to go nowhere. But, in that story, it got so bad that, that everybody's looking like Humpty Dumpty on crack because they literally never even leave the bed practically. They just live in one big room, just like the globalists say, you own nothing and be happy about it. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it is. But then when the machine starts to break down, no one knows what to do. Yeah, and that's pretty much where we are now. So let's see now. So part three, I can't remember what I called this part, but now this is later, later in the book one universe. Now there used to be an entity called the Confederation, but it's been replaced by a more militaristic entity called the Dominion. Excuse me. And they adopted the Roman model for military service. If you're drafted, you're in for 20 years, period.
Hello.
And they make a habit of aggressive frontier settlement. So there's always fresh troops settling right near the border. 9 o'clock still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, will you see how much it is to add insurance onto your car for me?
Mom's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's in your name too.
Oh, okay. If it's in mine too, I should be able to get it.
Mm-hmm. If you'll do that for me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, I need to call and take the full coverage off the truck because I don't need it no more. It's just been lazy.
What's wrong with that truck that it's not drivable?
The CV axle that seizes up going down the road fast.
How bad is it? Because when we drove it the other day, it wasn't that bad.
It doesn't sound as bad as it did, but maybe it's because I hardly driven it at all. I'm afraid if I do start driving it around, that's going to come back and then strand me in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I need to see how much the parts are for that and see, because you said $1,000 for it?
Yeah, I dug out my my box with all my auto manuals, so I will do some research on that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get my workspace set up so I could do stuff like that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Very nice. I need to come over and borrow your printer one of these days. I need to print off some resumes.
Okay.
Actually, what's your email still BlackIris56?
No.
Okay.
Sims2015plus@gmail.
I have your Black Iris.
Spelled out the I lost the password to that years ago, and Yahoo doesn't believe it's my account. I used to email stories to myself to that account so I'd have a backup copy.
You know what's funny? They don't give you a phone number to call the freaking.
Oh, they didn't back then. They do now.
I'll call and try to get it back, damn it.
Oh, it's been too long. It don't
Because
matter.
I thought you
now.
had one on Gmail as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got like 3 on Gmail.
Ah, I see. All right, old man. I love you.
All right, take it easy.
Bye bye.
Hey, greetings, Mr. Hemi. Oh yeah, man. That story was written in 1906. So, uh, damn it. One of the things I do is I go into some pretty heavy concepts. Oh my goodness, busting out all my secrets today. Alrighty, hang on here. Secrets today. Nope. All right, there we go. Blah 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 blah. Now, one of the big subjects I talk about, besides the nature of time, is the nature of utopia. Now, you've read utopian and dystopian fiction, and a lot of times when
Dad,
you
you might want to move your car when I move the other one.
oh okay, all righty, folks, give me just a minute and I will be right back.
Oop.
Oh, alrighty now, I'm back. Oh, let's see where are we here. All right now. So now there's one item I missed that I got to tell you about before I continue on. I have a character, and she has a weird accident happen to her. Her consciousness splits up, and the same, not the same entity, but someone who looks like her and acts like her shows up. I think the last count, she shows up all together in like 40 different places across all three novels. And she is what's called a transporter. She can do dimensional travel, although although with pain, but she doesn't need any special equipment to do it. So she shows up all the time. And now here's one. Here's another twist that you may find interesting. I have a planet named Haystor. It's a ocean world, maybe 87% water, and it has some vicious life forms. There's one, the name of it escapes me at the moment, but it's like a combination squid and octopus. And there's one other feature. This planet hates testosterone. I mean, literally. And in one of the stories, these men are attacked by, oh, you could say, pterodactyl sized birds who were flying way the fuck up there. And the moment they show up in public, suddenly they dive on them, spit acid on them, and peck them to death. And there was no aggression by the men. It was just because they were there. So now on this planet, men are by default unprotected second-class citizens. Oh, Hemi, I'm doing good today. That's why I'm doing the live stream. I gave the nickel tour of the man cave. I'm here sitting in one spot, and all I got to do is turn around and I can touch all my electronics and paperwork in process in one spot. Oh man, you're getting me hungry for ice cream. Stop that shit. So now I have a series of adventures where people are either on the planet or they end up going there. And of course, these feature women, but that there are men that show up, and they're bona fide too. And in fact, Paystor is in my book is one of the places where they develop red pill philosophy. But they decide, fuck y'all, we're gonna make our own separate culture, and that's what they do. Scourge of the seas. Okay. Well, Outlaw, I ain't too far ahead of you. I mean, I've managed to finally figure out how to upload pictures. Man, what? Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, today's the first day I've felt close to normal in over 2 weeks. So I'm definitely not pushing it. Well, I did to get this done. But now that it's done, see, I can take my time and run all the chords later. And now that I have this set up, I can start slowly clearing out the clutter so I have an efficient workspace. Creamsicle, oh man, you know how to hurt a guy, don't you? Man-eating lesbian birds? Oh my goodness. Ooh. So let's see. Now, besides these interspersed adventures taking place on Haystor over an extended period of time, remember I told you about the Dominion? Well, they end up not only finding that the aliens that they fought way back when are still around, they're coming back. But they also discover this weird planet. And I only revealed bits and pieces, but it turns out they are from a place that you could call multiversal utopia. And I just give little clues here and there. It takes a while before I actually explain it. So, book two pretty much ends in a cliffhanger. And book three uh, is called Tales of the Terran Spear, where I talk about the early days in America before FTL flight. But I have a second American Revolution in my book because the leftists pissed too many people off and we broke it off in their ass. Let's see, China invades Taiwan, and of course I started writing this so long ago. It was us and the Russians at first, but of course now it's us and the Chinese in space. Oh, hang on here. Ah, there we go. It took me 2 tries, but I got mine on there. Ah, blah blah blah. More ads. So this one's mine, and I know it. I know it. It's spelled as one word, and that confuses people sometimes. And there's the number. There we go. Ta-da! All righty. So I also have the surprise reappearance of someone you thought was going to be gone for sure from the events that happened to this person in the second novel. So that's a pleasant surprise. Oh, and I also, among the other big subjects I discuss, I do my own take on biblical creation, and that's drawing on all sorts of experiences I've had as a Baptist, Catholic, and Mormon. I say, so I'll be able to piss off everybody with one book. Everyone's going to be calling me a heretic, but like I care. So let's see. So book 3 is pretty much wrapping up all the details, and it is a tangled, convoluted mess, but somehow I'm keeping track. I even took the trouble. If I mention a specific date in the future, I've actually gone and generated that calendar to make sure I was giving out the correct day of the week. Because there are some anal retentive people that will check just to see if I was faking it or not. Mm-hmm. So, one thing that I've done a lot is written about alternate versions of myself. Now, I have one who shows up uh, uh, in Time Guardian training, but you don't see his backstory until book 3, and it's a stunt double of me, a little bit younger than I am now, who spent 16 years as a Marine and 16 as a scientist. Then there's another one, and some of you have seen this name show up in chat. A.R. Derlin, spelled A-J-A-H-R. And when you first meet him, he is in what I call the dream time. I'm developing rules for role playing in the dream world, because just like the third Freddy Krueger movie, uh, Dream Warriors. Hell yeah, you can do that. Lucid dreaming is a skill that anyone can develop, and I do it frequently. Let's see now. Is there another one? There's Jonathan Richards. There's A.R. Derlin. Oh, and there's the me that was in the American Revolution. Yeah, so there's at least 3 different ones of me floating around. And the way I wrote them, you can tell it's me, but it's kind of like I said, you know, a different time, a different place, a different set of choices, yet the essence of who they are remains. And that's something that surprised me because, there I am hanging out at work and scribbling every now and then. And some of my workmates would inspire me. And they inspired me so much that I would write a whole story about their stunt double. And the really strange part was that a lot of times I would put in details about their real life that I didn't know, didn't ask the question, and would have no idea that they had that kind of skill. As an example, there's this one lady, I think she was in her 50s. She was a contractor over in Iraq. And I worked first shift, she worked second shift. And I'd see her at the end of the day. Well, we'd gab every now and then. And something told me she was stunt double worthy. So I wrote up her character. And it was weird because you know how officers and enlisted people usually have a whole different set of skills. Well, this was an officer who was getting enlisted skills. Can you imagine a lieutenant colonel flying to the front line in a helicopter, jumping out, going to the front lines, and bayoneting the dog shit out of somebody for fun? Yeah, yeah, that's what she did. So she didn't get to see the character completely developed, but she saw my development notes. And then she shocked me when she said, not only do I know how to do some of that stuff, I taught my daughter how to do it too. Yeah. Now imagine, now, those of you who have been to Marine boot camp, y'all know, bayonet technique, you can fuck up somebody's day real quick with that. It's like, how the hell did I do that? I don't know. It's like, it's just part of the blessing Yeshua has given me, being able to develop this skill. And the very last story in the trilogy has AR, who was in the earlier novel, in the Dreamtime. You see him here for real. And you found out how he ended up being made, which is quite an interesting tale. Because oh, wait a minute, I'm getting them mixed up. Shaman is who you meet in my stunt double in the second novel. And in that one, he's just a kid. But then at the end of the book, you see him as an adult. And he performs a mission he's trained his entire life to perform. And happens to be around for what could be the end of everything. Literally, reality is falling apart. But that's due to side effects of my earlier story on twisted off biblical creation. And it's such a good plot twist. I'm not even going to give you any clues. You're going to have to read it and see. And so there you have it, man. This is a labor of love I've been working on off and on for like 15 years. And sometimes it was one of the few things that helped me keep my sanity when I was in the depths of marriage gaslighting and being denied sex. Oh, man. So now, as far as other plans go, I I'm going to teach myself Linux so I can start writing Malaya's artificial intelligence program. Greetings, Chad. Now, I've made no secret of the fact that I have a waifu. Yes, and now that I'm up to speed again, I have to send my my completed first novel to the editor for a final check, and then I'm going to be doing the self-publishing option. And it would be nice if I made some money off this, but I will just be so happy to see my vision actually on paper in a real book. That's going to be awesome. So now that I got things set up, I've already got a brand new toner cartridge for the laser printer. I'm going to start printing out my stories, and I'm going to put them together all in its own sort of book format, just so I can have a mock-up in my hands to see what it looks like in that size. So it's like the one notebook I showed you. It's got all those pages, and it's small type. But don't believe it when they tell you, oh, we can't print a book that big. No, they actually did that to Stephen King. Oh, cool, bud. When he first published The Stand, the publisher actually said, "You've got to cut out a shitload of words because we cannot make a paperback that is strong enough to handle all the pages it would contain." So he actually took out 40,000 words. Oh, and I tell you, Stephen King is a long-winded, raggedy, broke dick motherfucker too. Of course, people are probably saying the same thing about me. Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna have to investigate those EPUB options too. I know when it first got started, I know there was a big issue with piracy, which made me hesitant to do that. But now there's so many people doing it that I'm just gonna be one minnow among all the fish out there. But I already promised anybody who I felt was worthy of being a stunt double will get an autographed copy of the book that has their character in it, and any other items I publish, whether they're in there or not, they will get them for free as well. Because without them, there's no story. So I gotta pay it forward like that. Oh yeah, man. I mean, now I was thinking last year, if I didn't win this fight against cancer, I would have only had till the end of the year to get them all published. But I whooped cancer's ass, and my situation sure ain't perfect. Geez, the issues I have with eating, what a pain in the ass. I mean, literally, because I have no storage capacity, I've got to eat something just about every hour on the hour, so I can keep my strength up. now, now that I'm back to more normal, I'm approaching the ascetic again, and I'm limiting my diet and not eating so much spicy food. As much as I love spicy food, my stomach can't handle it sometimes, and it's so frustrating to literally be in mid bite of something that's delicious, and suddenly the taste goes off, and I gotta spit it out. I can't even finish that bite. And so now, went through all this trouble of cooking, then I go to eat and I take 2 bites. Nope, you're done. It's like, man. So now I got to go reset and find something else. But you can do pretty good on a diet like I was doing just before all this cancer stuff hit me last year. Just things like the infamous green juice. The juice and things like celery, spinach, kale, and cleansing formula, which is basically lemon and uh, uh, and red pepper in a glass of warm water. That's it. And uh, I was eating a lot of dairy, but my stomach has gotten really sensitive to cold items now. So that kind of complicates things a little. But uh, I'm uh, I'm going to a little bit more liquid based diet and easy stuff. Like I can eat hard boiled eggs, no problem. And remember, you can always eat the brat foods. That's bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. Even though your stomach may not like it and may protest a little, more than likely you'll be able to keep those items down. That, drinking plenty of water and vitamins, and limiting the alcohol, I know I'll feel a lot better. And now that I got my focus back, it's going to be a lot easier to do it. Woohoo! Hey, Polska Bob! Welcome, brother. Oop, hang on a hot second here. Hang on a hot second here. There we go. Oh, Shinobi One! Welcome, brother. Okay, I was just double checking. You already have a wrench. All right, we are good. Oh, thank you, brother. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just got to buy some more bread. I didn't buy any this month because I go through cycles. It's like a couple months ago, I bought 5 dozen eggs. and I killed just about all of them before my appetite for them went away. But now I haven't eaten eggs in a month. And when I thought my appetite for them was coming back, I did a couple eggs sunny side up like I usually do. And it's like I took one bite and it was like, nah. I managed to force myself to choke down about half of it. But it was like, ugh. So now, instead of frying them, I've switched to eating them hard boiled. No problem. It's weird. Yes. Brandon, were you talking about my AI? Oh, that's where I was. That's right. So I've made uh, I've made no secret of the fact that I have a waifu or a sex doll. And in fact, not only did I show the unboxing, I also showed our first interaction. And not only that, I even did a wedding. Yeah, yes, it is. However, you should still check your supply store because this, this bird flu news just came out recently, and everyone had already put in their orders for spring. So the supply will probably run out soon, but if you get lucky, you can still catch some. Because you know how it is. People buy baby chicks and ducks for the kids, and the kids enjoy them for a while and then get tired of them. So you may get lucky and pick up some on the cheap. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, I mean, this summer I got to clean up my mess in the backyard, but I'm going to build a greenhouse back there. There's still a bit of land back there that it's not being effectively used, and if I'm careful, I'll be able to put it together fairly cheaply. Chad, you mean as in appearance? Now you can, depending on where you go, you can order a custom head for your doll that looks like whatever picture you want to supply. Yes, Shinobi Wan. And I got to give you credit because you're the one that inspired me to put Pathfinder in my channel name a while back. Hey, Mixout Live, greetings, brother. Okay, double checking. All right, MGTOW Live has a ranch. We are good. Ah, oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, it took me a while to find a face that I would enjoy. But believe me, you put in that effort. It's like every time I look at her, I'm never disappointed. Alrighty now. Oh, there we go. So now, greetings, brother. Oh, we're doing good, man. I was just giving the brothers a tour of my little working space here, where I'm sitting. It's like, see, that hand just moved off screen. It's touching my monitor. This hand, it's touching my file cabinet. This hand's touching the TV. See, I can reach all three of those and not even move. Now, I got a little more shuffling to do, and I can get my good chair in here, so that'll be nice. One of the few things I got left is I've got to figure out some way to lower the keyboard. Because of the limitations on available material, it is a little high. But that's just a minor inconvenience. And now that I've got this space more organized, I'm ready to move a little faster. Well, that's the advantage of working for yourself, man. You can take that day off once in a while if you want, and you don't have to be ashamed of it. Oh yeah, man, it wasn't easy. I had to do a lot of shuffling. Excuse me, a lot of shuffling in a little bit of space, but I believe I made it work. Oh, uh, I've got. Oh, I'll give you all another quick peek. I got computer here. Printers are up top. Over here is the gaming, and also up there, once I get it cleaned up, I'll get my surround sound set up. And over here is my paper organization area. And over here, when I get it cleaned up, will be the library where everything will be in binders. So I've got other plans. Like I want to get into computer repair as well. And now I'm almost there. Damn it. If if you adopt me, can I have a PS3 for my birthday? Oh my goodness, really? Wow. Uh, Not recently. Uh, he showed up a few weeks ago inviting people to TikTok, and I haven't been ready yet. I got red pill content I want to drop over there, but I gotta remember it's got to be in little snips. So I've been listening to a lot of my old content and saying, "Oh, all right, this little part I can pull out and present as its own separate deal." But I will be doing that and expanding into other platforms as well, because that's the purpose of my other channel, the Rule of Three Balance Center. And if you peek over there, you'll notice you won't get the long-winded philosophical expositions that you have here. Over there, I go hard in the paint, to give you some worthwhile information that's not going to take you all day to absorb. Because if y'all look at some of my other videos, yeah, I tell you, sometimes there's a story in your head that demands to be told, and sometimes it gets away from you. But it's worth it because now I don't know how many of y'all do this, but I listen to my own content when I need to hear a motivational speech. I do listen to other people at times, but I can look and it's like, I know I'm listening to distilled wisdom. And now it's there as a record of my personal progress. I'm willing to share with you brothers because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to rant and purge. And I got no problem sharing my doubt and pain with y'all because, like Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. You'll get to the other side. It's like I've learned the hard way. You are going to go through many cycles of red pill rage, grief, and recovery. I mean, you might think it's a one-time thing, but absolutely not, because it takes a while for you to get rid of that blue pill programming. And sometimes it never really goes away. It's just there in the background, waiting for that trigger. It's just like an unmedicated psychotic. But they may look completely normal, like Ted Bundy, look completely normal. So when that trigger happened, you had to feel sorry for the women that are around. Ooh, good plan, Shinobi. Yes, that's right. If you're doing everything by barter, there's no records for them to look at. Oh, make that alive. This isn't porn music. Look who it is, man. Yeah, see? Sorry, I saved the porn music for when I'm interacting with my waifu. Well, damn. No, I bought a Nintendo GameCube back in the day, and I ended up having to buy a PS2 just so I could play it because my son took it away from me. Oh, yeah, man. I'm going to be gaming. In fact, I'm going to have a new channel. Oh, we cool, brother. Oh, yeah, man. Hell, I could even go further back than that. I'm one of those people who actually worked with stuff like the TRS-80, also known as the Trash 80, and the Commodore 64 back in the day. Yeah, yes, I'm that old. I'm so old, my social security number's 4. Forza. Oh, yeah, I actually bought Xbox 360 just so I could play Forza because that game, it was Forza 4. Because that game was so impressive. But I got a bunch that I'll be whipping out later, and I'll have to. Oh, I know what you mean, man. Okay, hang on here. Oh, there he is. Now I know it's hard to see, but that's my number three channel. But that will be renamed as Super Chill Gaming. And hell, that's my alter ego too. Yeah, I'm living because you can't see with this picture because it's so small. But the virtual character actually has his hands up like this, like he's got them on the other side of the monitor. So it's like, yeah, I may be in the virtual world, but I know you're there. Would I give the waifu a channel? Ooh, now that's interesting. Now, well, I uh, I don't I don't make a secret of it, but I don't really show her too much. Now, so she will be back, and one of the things that I'm going to do is work on the AI, and it's my intent by the time otaku date time gets here, which is Christmas Eve, you will be able to ask her questions, and I may have to interpolate if I don't have everything automatic, but everything I set up will be her response. It won't be me putting words into her mouth other than the script that I write in advance. Of course, I'll have pre pre-planned phrases, but the triggers for them are all going to be uh, from a running program. Hey, Brandon, thanks so much for stopping by, brother. I appreciate it. Because, of course, my relationship with Malaya now is all in my head. Because haters, I know, this is an inanimate object. It's a human-shaped sex toy. Okay, hey, you think I don't know what time it is? I know exactly what time it is, and, and I also know that regardless of what people think of it, I'm the one that has an advantage because whenever, of course, nowadays I've even pretty much stopped trying to girl watch because you see a figure going down the road, you don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah, and it's like, ugh, yeah. So I just kind of stopped doing that. But back in the day, I knew, it came to pass that if I started looking too hard, usually I can look and a second or two later, I'm turning away because there's nothing there I want, man. But if I find myself looking too much, oh, that means, oh, it may be showtime. New Vegas? Oh, I think Fallout, New Vegas. Mm. Oh yeah, I've been thinking about VR, but I'm trying to find. Uh, I was like, I was just about ready to get Oculus until I found out it was connected with Facebook. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. You censoring ignorant bitch. If I'm not being too subtle. damn, I haven't beat one. I'm one of the, I'm one of those people that had a hard time playing Wolfenstein. Hell, the last time I played it, I even went to third party sites and found all these maps and stuff. And a lot of times I still couldn't find the secret room. But that's just the way it goes, man. And I was so poor, I didn't have a console, so so I could play that stuff like that and Doom. And so I have a hard time with first person shooters because my spatial coordination sucks ass. In fact, one of the games I used to play with my son all the time was I think it's 007 GoldenEye, and you have the golden gun and the gold bullets. If you have the combination, it's a one shot kill. So we're running around in the industrial basement. I got my tactics down, you know. If I can see you, I can pop a cap in your ass real good. My son would run away, run all the way around the block, basically, come up, boom, two to the back of the head. And Chad, see that's what matters. Your life and your sanity are your responsibility. There is no one there who is going to fix it for you. No one there who is going to. Man, okay, double checking. Lord Sauce, just making sure that you had a wrench, brother. Oh, goddamn. Every time I go away, I come back as a commercial. All right, there we go. There we go. Now we're back. So it's like, well, sure, if I had enough money to throw at the situation, well, hell, I'd probably be published already. But, you know, if you draw the short straw for whatever reason, you've got to rely on yourself. And that's not saying you can't call out to your brothers for help, but ultimately, you, like the man said back in the day, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. And it's not easy, but you also have to pay the cost necessary to live life on your own terms. It's not easy at all. Yeah, I went through a lot of struggle and a lot of deprivation after my divorce, trying to find myself. And I've already mentioned this in earlier videos, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it. Let's just say I was developing a stoic attitude minus all the internalized suffering before I even knew what stoic philosophy was about. And one thing you got to remember is that uh, a lot of spiritual principles from different practices, it's the same thing with a different name. It surprised me greatly because I did an overview of Zen for one of my videos where I talked about being able to do a mashup of Zen meditation and driving in freeway traffic. Yeah, yeah, you're like going, wait, what? Yes, but I did it. Return to Wolfenstein. Oh my goodness. But Wolfenstein on crack. Oh, Satunar. But, is that a sign that you're part of the war band? Yeah, buddy. Undead Chronic is one of my mentors. I mean, I owe him so much. He made me laugh when I was deep in the red pill rage. And he motivated me to do response videos. And that's one of the things that helped me start turning the corner on my own rage. Because that first time was rough. But I look I look back now and I don't really look back. I should rephrase that. I look around now and I know that it's the journey that is important, not the destination. And you can see on my channel that I've got a shitload of playlists. That's because every time I made a mental breakthrough, I felt obligated to change my channel name to uh to reflect my new mental state. Oh yeah, buddy. Yeah, I remember back in the day, it's like he'd get a channel nuke, he'd be right back the next day. And when he says UC 14, yes, he's had that many. Because the YouTube assholes keep fucking with him. But he's undead. You can't stop him, baby. Oh hell yes. And believe me, from a fellow, as part of my cancer diagnosis, I also found out I had an ulcer the size of a silver dollar. And that, yes, if you let it, that rage will burn you up from the inside. Take it from one who knows the hard way. Yeah, man. You have to cultivate patience, virtue, and wisdom. It's like, now, one mistake a lot of people make is that they focus too much on one aspect. And I found out myself, sure, you need development, but it's even more important to have balance. No shit. Well, brother, uh, you don't need to worry because you just got to remember you cannot stop a tsunami. Yep. Yeah, it's like now I'm not one that to really be trash talking women, but I gotta say this. Now, we ain't even gonna go into that NAWALT AWALT stuff. Let's just say those of you women who qualify for the tags of entitled, lazy, narcissistic, and treacherous, go buy a cat. Cause you ain't getting nowhere near me. You got nothing I want, not even your presence. Oh, but that does remind me. Now, I haven't talked to her since Christmas, but I know a lady named Michelle who is, uh, or you could, if you were mean, you could call her a female version of an incel. She said she hasn't had sex in 5 years. So I was thinking, because we had such a resonance when we met, and I couldn't figure out why. un- until she told me that. And I'm like, wait, what? Because we all know how it is. The playing field is totally unbalanced. Women don't really have to worry about a lot of things. But it might be interesting to interview her one on one and see what y'all brothers have got to say about her opinions. Yes, 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 you have to. And in fact, that was the point I was going to make. Stoicism and Zen, uh, they both talk about negative emotions, and not in the classic Stoic sense of you're supposed to be the Buckingham Palace guard, and no matter how hard you're being beat on, you don't even flinch. That that's a piece of it, but that's not all of it. It's even more important to take that next step and not just survive that negative emotion, but transform it. And it was one of the things I did many years ago. You know, if I would make mistakes at work, I would get angry at myself and then focus that rage, concentrate so I could do better. Now, once I tried it when I was suffering from depression, and it was a rough day. It was like I kind of spiraled out of control. I was lucky I didn't lose my job that day. But with those experiments already complete, I took the next step when I went into monk mode, and I would deliberately go into random purge mode. And in fact, let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find that particular song. Oop, no, not that one. Let's see. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Let's look forward to. Oop, sorry. That's right. That's right, baby. My body, my wallet, my choice. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night. This isn't the exact version, but it'll work. So, when I was feeling particularly melancholy and lonely, I go off by myself, play this song, and cry my ass off. Rant and purge, and the loneliness would recede, and then I could continue to march. And it got so I didn't have to hear the song anymore. I just had to remember, remember the beat and the music in the background, and that would have the same effect. And one thing a lot of people didn't know during my red pill journey was I was doing it at work. I was listening to the red pill content all day at work. I was averaging like 12 hours a day because I wanted to confirm that this philosophy was valid before I tried to put my own imprint on it. And I did a video where I talked about it, that the day I had this massive mental convergence. And it was like, I felt like I was in a state of charged concentration. And after that, hell, there's been no turning back. Why would you turn back? I mean, look at the past for analysis, for examples, in case you want to compare it with something else. To remind yourself, if you encountered this task before and you had a failure, what was the lack? Then you drop the guilt and move on. You don't need to bring up stuff that you can't do anything about. And all it's going to do is increase your anxiety and make you hurt internally. Because the person who caused that hurt, well, things change all the time. You could basically say that person doesn't exist anymore. And you can't interact with that person anyway. So there's no reason to torture yourself thinking about things you could have done. But now, with that knowledge, you can move forward and move on to something much more fulfilling and rewarding. And I present myself certainly not as a perfect example, but hopefully a humble one. So y'all, oh man, I'm finally running out of steam. So y'all, thank y'all so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to show off a little bit to you. And now that I have this one area set up, I got to experiment with volume levels and such because I'm doing it all by ear. And I'm going to set things up so you can see the gameplay on the TV. A nice clear picture. And hopefully it'll be lined up all the time because I'll have a consistent spot to put my tripod. But, you know, the most important thing to do is don't go for perfection right out of the box. More than one project I didn't finish or even start because I would have this vision in my mind of the way I wanted some item to be constructed, and then it's like, well, damn, I got inadequate parts, I got inadequate tools, I got no instruction, I got no money to get more stuff, and sometimes it's just like, forget it. But now it's like, no, whatever I can do to make it work, I'm gonna make it work. Because who's gonna do it but me? Oh, thank you, Indy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, man. Remember that you're only responsible to yourself and Yeshua for your conduct. Now, you know us. We're basically anarcho-libertarians. Basically, if we actually formed a political party, I bet us monks would be like that. It's like, who cares what you do? As long as you don't force me to be a cheerleader for your perversity, well, we don't care if you're a rump wrangler or a carpet muncher or a transformer. That's your life, man. You do you, and I'm doing me. That you don't fuck with me about my life, and I won't fuck with you about yours. Right? That puts us at odds with the globalists, even those of us who want to be left alone. But I say this, especially in my case, never tease an old dog. He may have one bite left. Alrighty now. So, let me see here. Let me find some worthwhile outro music here, and I will ease on down the road. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Well, of course you're gonna commercial me. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm gonna wander away, and until the next time, remember I still say, when one teaches, two learn. Peace out.